All right. Good evening, Gotham. Good Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon to the ISS, and the rest of you. I say this is getting interesting because feed was temporarily blocked. Now my Twitter feed is being blocked for me being able to even share this. You can find me on the World Wide Web argumentatively at scootermcgee.com. Perhaps the Russians are hacking. It's probably Putin's fault because I paid the bill and everything's supposed to work at scootermcgee.com and the podcast and the video. And so subscribe, like, share, click a link or two and see if they work. And if they don't, let me know. So good evening. It is the end of 329, beginning of 330, 2022. It is 1 a.m. In Patterson, New Jersey. It is 9 a.m. in Moscow. It's 3 p.m. in Osaka, Japan. And so, having said that, it's 10 p.m. in Los Angeles County. So, good evening. Here are the headlines of just 24 hours, as reported by CBS, ABC, NBC. The situation regarding the incident at the Academy Awards, the crisis in Ukraine, and the dignitaries from Russia and Ukraine meeting in Istanbul, Turkey, the economy, Odessa, Dr. Fauci, the Emmett Till law. So, all right, well, let's have a Coke and a smoke. Nome del Padre, Figlio, Spiriti Santi, Amen. Let me try and get through all of these as best as possible, as best as I can, as quickly as possible. Started the skim 4 a.m. Eastern. The walking back of President Biden's European campaign trip. If you watched this last week of leading up to the emergency summit, because it took 8 days to prepare, and where I stood with that, and then as he spoke, my comments that this is a campaign speech the way you don't throw rhetoric out like that when you're the leader of the free world. So where he stands on what is really now based upon what time of day it is, what time zone you're in, and what the date is. Because it's not conspiracy theory or fake news when it's being challenged in real time. And certain stories are on the internet, which would be deemed fake news because they're wrong. Well, that's just been corrected. And now this is, oh, so that doesn't even matter anymore. That should worry all of you because it's still out there. And people believe what they see, read, or hear first. Russian forces are pulling back as diplomats in Istanbul may have made headway, although the Ukrainians are pointing out don't touch anything in the room, don't eat anything, and don't drink anything because we don't know if anything's been poisoned. And I go back to when the Russians killed Litvinenko with the atomic isotopes, radioactive isotopes. The Russians, that's don't think the CIA and the USA and the Brits and our partners in peace, Israel. Don't think they don't do that either. Meanwhile, let alone our other party. If I'm going to bring up our partners in peace, our good friends in Israel, then we have to bring up the Saudis. It's interesting how they detain their journalists and key figures and how they torture them. People are concerned as to whether or not the Will Smith Chris Rock incident may or may not have been staged. ABC News overnight. Quote, there's a corner of the internet that believes that this was staged. And that's the brunette one, the one who does the throwing with the hair. Now, the morning show circuits, where do they get these where do they get these crazy conspiracy QAnon? CNN attempted to equate, it's on my Twitter feed if it's still up. It's not letting me post anything. It's not letting me share anything. It's all going to drafts. Um, but I checked my email here. Doesn't say you've been suspended, none of that. And I've been interacting with many of you these last 30 days. So I don't know what happened. Um, where was I in the. So a corner of the internet believes that the Academy Awards Chris Rock Will Smith event may have been staged. And then the daytime talk show punditry media jokingly about how crazy a conspiracy theory that is. And that, what did that come from? Another QAnon website? President Biden stands by what he said because he was speaking on a moral level, not as the head of the free world. We have to have a Coke and a smoke. So, Joe, again, for the cognitive test to run for president of the United States or any office, you have to be able to tap your head and be able to rub your belly. Again, if I do it down here, it looks like I'm doing something else, doesn't it? So, I mean, and I'm not trying to get your, meme moment. Nah, I thought you'd think it was buffering. And so you have to be able to do this and run for president or any other office, including dog catcher, or to be a part of your homeowners association. So he's not walking anything back, and he's making no apologies. All right, we're good. It's fine. We got 4 pages. We got to keep going. Why would anybody think this is staged? On my Twitter feed and on my Facebook feed that you can find over at scootermcgee.com, I posted the chart and the graph of all the ratings of all the Oscars. Because again, I think the Oscars, the last time they were entertaining, had nothing to do with the Oscars. It had to do with Triumph, the little insult dog outside. It's been a long time since, the Oscars were entertaining because they weren't the leading up to. And if Triumph isn't on, then I don't care. The Oscars overnight ratings were up 56%. Not because of getting ready for all the firsts. These are the overnights, the bump, the difference between the East Coast feed, the West Coast feed, international overnights clicks. Holy, they got a 56% bump. Yeah, but 100,000 to, okay, so let's stand by for the real numbers. What was initially reported at $5.7 trillion deficit budget deficit was Freudian, Scooter. Yes. Excuse me. Now calculated out $5.8 trillion budget that was proposed by Joe Biden now seems to be being overshadowed as the second booster. 2 boosters now. Your second one is out. It's available. If you're 50 and over, and or if you have pre-existing conditions or a myriad of other reasons, okay, and all right, good. um Again, after 2 weeks, another round of meetings, what were called now high stakes meetings with Russia and Ukraine, um may have brought some results as Odessa prepares to be sieged. Now, wait a minute. We just did the head. 3 weeks ago, they were under attack, under fire, about to fall. Then the Navy was getting close, and well, now they're preparing for siege. But 10 days ago, they were under siege. The comments about the Russian army pulling back may, in fact, be they are attempting to strengthen or resupply. The Russians say they're doing it as a gesture of good faith. Um, but no key movements in negotiations that can be, you know, Andre so and so, can you please? Yes, we have made. They are moving 100 of the 187,000 troops left. 187,000. Yes, there were 200,000 and 25,000. What? There were 225,000. Holy, the Ukrainians killed that many. Oh, yes, it's a lot worse than you think. People in Moscow are pissed. Odessa is preparing for a siege. Many Americans now are suffering what the media is calling resignation regret. See, now that the COVID nonsense and the masks and the boosters and the must get and have to get in order to keep, so many Americans walked away and retired, resigned, took their pensions, whatever. And now that it turns out, well, you don't really need to have all because we're trying to get the economy. What? Yeah. Oh, and then there's the other of pointing out those who are suffering from Stockholm syndrome that, wow, not only are you going back, you're going to argumentatively be taking an 18% pay cut just due to just due to, I almost said hyperinflation, just to now what is going to have to be reported as double digit inflation here in the next 36 hours because of April Fool's Day. Americans across the United States are bracing for possible severe storms this week, especially in what is known as Tornado Alley from Texas back up through Iowa. Speaking of Texas, now that South by Southwest is over, because thank goodness we've got another booster. Yeah, but see, they don't have mask mandates, and they're breathing out in public. And there was a 47% jump of COVID in Austin, Texas, after the South by Southwest festival, and officials are worried across the Gulf, of course, because of spring break, and that we all just need to be safe. And you should really still be wearing your mask indoors in groups and all of that, especially because of the highly infectious BA2 variant. They're not telling you if anybody's dying. It's just highly infectious because it's testing in everybody, and everybody seems fine. That's when it's about to get the worst. Right when everybody seems fine, that's when they'll start crappie flopping. Oh dear God. He almost buried the lead. Walmart now has decided to discontinue cigarette sales in some stores. Okay, bigger story there, but we'll leave that now for 329. Remind me, regular viewers, remind me when the next time this comes up, and oh, and remember, and Walmart just, when was that? It was 329, sir. Yes, a date that will live in infamy. Dr. Fauci, by the way, before he gets ready to retire out, pointed out that, with the BA2 variant, and we're coming into spring, summer, and by next fall, we'll have a lot more data on the variants. And now with the authorization for a second booster, he says that boosters may now just be a thing as common as the flu shot. Yeah, but see, you didn't make and force everybody to get one before they show up to do anything other than pee on a tree. $5 trillion has now been reported. $5 trillion reported out to COVID relief. Many are questioning where all that money is going. Many are questioning. Good for them. Maybe, I don't know, Congress could hold some hearings. Um, Look at the Blue Vine. They process billions of dollars of those COVID relief loans. Take a look at how they're doing right now. Sorry. Remember when I told you about all the Ukrainians at the Mexican border? How did they get there? What's going on? Thank you so much, Lester Holt, for letting us know about the situation of the Ukrainians at the California border. The California border. You mean Tijuana? Where are they coming in from? Well, they've been in Mexico. Now it gets better. Like I said, this all has to do with when COVID happened about being a xenophobe and shutting the borders. President Trump, regarding a health emergency, you just can't be coming in here and getting asylum or even for asylum. That's Title 42. Stand by. The Ukrainian refugees, many now at the California border. Olay! Um, but, as evil as they want to bring up, this started under Trump and COVID. Uh-huh. You know, he can do the executive order and limit them just for this. No, we are going to need major immigration reform because the crisis of the Ukrainian refugees only further magnifies the crisis of, and then they all just started rambling off other countries, meaning, oh, we're about to open our borders. We need asylum for all refugees. Many are waiting on the border. Many. How many? The estimated 10,000 Ukrainians that arrived at the Mexican border 10 and 14 days into the crisis. And I said, did they get there that fast? Around the world, they FedEx themselves as so. Elon Musk is, sending the Starlink. They're packing themselves in the boxes that the dishes came in and then mailing themselves to Tijuana. So, I'm not trying to be mean to Tijuana. Queen Elizabeth II has made her first appearance in months at Prince What's His Nuts memorial that they couldn't have because of COVID last year. Now, let's talk about the Emmett Till law. It's an anti-lynching law. Cory Booker and the rest of the crack staff during George Floyd, and then this all comes up with Josie Smollett. And hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Come on now, let's talk. Really? Lynching? Who's lynching? How many lynchings are there? We have a crime epidemic, a drug abuse epidemic, a overdose epidemic, opioid epidemic. We have record murder in the United States. Lynching is now a federal hate crime. Yeah, just like Will Smith allegedly slapping Chris Rock, whether that was real or not. Hold on a minute. Now that was assault. That was verbal assault and sexual assault and assault is assault is assault is assault. Wait a minute. When was the last time somebody was lynched? So important. There's another moment in history and another first for President Biden. Excuse me. Who's getting lynched? The American people are. We're getting hoodwinked and we're getting lynched. Passing the Emmett Till law, anti-lynching law. Be good for the people. Um, we got them all. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got them all. Yes, we started a new book. So YouTube notes, headlines, etc. This has been the end. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or ideas and suggestions, please shoot them to me at scootermcgee.com. Follow me at scootermcgee.com. Support me on Patreon, please. Help keep me and Cokes and Smokes in the bunker, and I can keep doing this every night for you. Please. $5 a month, $10 a month, please. And then please watch The Conspiracy Keepers. Conspiracykeepers.com, Joe Lanier, myself, Backlash LaRue. from subjects about 322, tunnels underground at DIA, and most recently, was it staged or wasn't it, and what does it really represent out of the Academy Awards? So until I see you tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, 1 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Moscow, 3 p.m. Osaka, or 10 p.m. in Los Angeles County, uh, be well, be safe, and be very, very leery of what you're reading or seeing or hearing in the news. Do some research yourself. In the meantime, thanks for participating in the number one podcast that nobody knows about and even fewer people ever watch. Good night, everybody.